Father Stephen Gadberry is here.
The Padre.
Hello.
Rory, what's your middle name?
I got two. My grandfather's names, Charles and Francis.
Rory Charles Francis. What's their name?
Rolls off the tongue.
Strong name.
Jimmy.
What's
James.
up?
Yep. So, we're here.
Here
You
we
had a
are.
story.
We here.
You had a story.
We out here.
And that's you.
So last night we were eating Crave cereal. I've never had it before.
Yeah,
It's like Captain Crunch with chocolate inside it. Really good. So it was Rich and Darren and Lakeland was there. And I don't know if you've ever tried to do the puzzles on the back. They're hard. Like this was like a riddle or a joke or whatever. And it was like, what's an electrician's favorite drink? I was like, okay, cool. And it had these little symbols, and you had to find the symbols in the picture on the box. And they were hard to find. I spent probably 15 minutes looking for them. Like cereal got soggy and everything. But anyhow, so
What's
get to
the
the
answer?
what is an electrician's favorite drink?
Spark.
I got nothing.
Glad you asked. Okay, hot chocolate.
Oh.
I would have never got that.
I wouldn't have got there
No.
yet.
I'm
thought
not
this
a
was-
joke guy.
I thought this was an Advocare.
I thought it was going to go like
commercial.
Gatorade Bolt or something.
Spark,
Yeah.
right?
Spark. There it
Oh,
is.
Spark would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Advocare.
What a plug, yeah.
Tell me the other one about the power plays, the table, the seating of the table.
Oh yeah. So I am a Catholic priest, father. You call me Father Stephen. It's not because I'm your father. People know the original. So I'm a Catholic priest. I went to school in Rome, so that was pretty cool. I was there for 4 years, and so I was at the Vatican on a regular basis. And the Vatican is it's actually the smallest country in the world. It's its own city-state, right? Or its own state. Or its own nation, whatever you call it. And so years ago, everything, just like every nation, they ran everything. So not just like the church stuff, but also all the legal things and things like that. So they would have trials, and there was a room where they would do interrogations, and it was a smaller room with a little table in the middle, similar images on all four sides. So there wasn't anything to distinguish an important side of the room based on the walls, and all the chairs were the same on all four sides of the table, and so there wasn't like a bigger chair. So the person going on trial, like they would send Rory in and say, okay, we'll go on and have a seat. We'll come in and meet with you. And let's say you sat in that chair, then I would come in with a few others, and I would say, excuse me, could you that's my seat. Would you sit over there? Just a little
mind game?
Yeah, and it's
Start things off right.
it's a common
So
thing.
we're going to have you move over a seat.
Yes.
Mind game, like using my name as the criminal. I
Yeah.
can see what you did there.
That makes sense.
You just
Also-
sort of slipped that in there. That's all
I
right.
bought a recliner.
We know.
No, did we say it already? But I'm just thinking about it in terms of what the Padre just said.
I got all sorts of selfies from the recliner.
Actually, okay, the selfies. I was like, there's a podcast that's kind of
Oh, yep. The never
unreleased,
was.
so I'm not sure
Oh.
what material. So this may be good. Fresh
So it's like a
material.
seat of power in my house now, though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like it's
Does
what he's...
Kristen try to take your seat?
No, but I
cats?
did try the whole,
Bring me a beer.
hey woman, get me a beer. I didn't really mean it. I was just being silly.
Just a test.
but
You were,
yeah, just to
you were
test it.
joking, but you weren't.
Yeah, I was like, let's see if this will work. She came around the corner and looked at me like, that's not going to work for you, man. But that is the seat of power in my house now.
Is it?
Yeah. Both the dogs been trying to sit in there when I get up. They get it.
Shoo them out.
Yeah. So we need to do what the Vatican. We need to do what the Vatican does, right? I can't have like a seat of power in the house. Is that what you're saying?
It's all based on human dignity. We all got equal dignity.
Ego.
It's, yeah.
Speaking
Check
of
out the door.
Making me feel
Couches.
bad.
Have you guys ever sat on? I think it's Restoration Hardware has a cloud couch.
Ooh, is it nice?
It's amazing.
Sounds fluffy.
What is so special?
I don't know. There's really nothing that special about it other than like I'm trying to talk Hillary into letting us get one. The guys at Pit Boss, when we went to their house, they had one, and it looks like just a normal couch.
Does look unassuming.
Most comfortable thing I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Like I sat on it.
What's the name of the company?
Restoration Hardware.
Restoration Hardware. Nope.
So totally.
Never heard of
We're
it?
not sponsored by them.
Super.
No,
just
we're not.
No.
We might be after this. Yeah, I'll take a couch.
Yes.
I'm telling you, this cloud couch was amazing.
All their
Cloud
stuff
couch.
is radical, but it's depressing too. You walk through and you're like, that costs my car costs, and that's like my
What?
house.
Oh, it's so
wow.
expensive.
Oh,
No,
wow.
we won't get one,
Yeah.
but
Dang.
we have like our like leather couch is Restoration Hardware, but it was what do they call not wholesale. What's the where they take it to like another place and they mark it down substantially? What is that?
Wholesale?
See,
Like no, not
Wholesale?
wholesale. Wholesale would be like what you buy it for.
Consignment?
What? An outlet. There we go.
Outlet.
Restoration hardware outlet.
Look at you,
At
Ben.
least that's what Hillary tells me. Probably bold-faced lie, but you know,
Buy it out of the back of a truck. I think that's different.
yeah, yeah,
It's restoration hardware.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna love it.
And now it has. Trice has decided like you can make scratches in it and they stay. So there's just Trice scratches.
Scratches.
He's like, I scratch a couch, and I'm like, I'm gonna take you outside and give you a stern talking to.
Yeah. I'm gonna
It's been-
scratch you.
he'd give you the talking to.
It's been an interesting couple days, so I haven't even been able to like deal with this one thing yet. But yesterday, literally, Ange was like, "Hey, what's on the side of your truck?" And I looked, and literally a child of some like it looks like a younger kid than mine,
Probably mine.
has taken a key and like drawn in the side of my truck. There's no definitive like, it's not like a caveman or anything, you know. But it's like it's a drawing. I'm like, that's cute,
Awesome.
but not cute.
I'm gonna
Awesome.
apologize. That was probably one of my kids.
I don't think so.
When was it?
I'm no telling.
No.
Discovered yesterday,
Okay. It was a key.
January
or a
the whatever.
rock?
You know what? I don't know what implement. I'd be lying if I said I knew what implement it was. It was a sharp carving tool.
A good drawing board.
I do not know.
He does like keys, doesn't he?
Yeah, but we've pretty much gotten rid of all keys in the house, so I don't know. He wouldn't have got a key. A rock is a very likely
Yeah.
carving tool.
When,
that
when I
Trice
got,
would
when I
use.
got there yesterday, can I tell the story?
Yeah, go for it.
So I pull up, and he's leaning against Hillary's truck, just like, hey,
Surveying.
yeah. He's like watching everything. And I pull up and I climb out of the truck and I look at him. He says, "This is my house." I said, "Okay, cool." He said,
Yeah.
"I'm Trice." I said, "Hey, Trice, I'm Steven." He said, "I gotta poop." Well, let's go inside. I gotta poop, man.
We're working on potty training.
He did it. He ran right in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I guess
awesome.
he won the
And you knew everything you needed to know right away.
Yeah. He gave you everything you needed to know right up front.
Boom.
It's my
Didn't make it
place.
far,
This
like-
was his bees.
Yeah,
he was
that's
just
it.
like,
This
yeah.
is who I am. This is what I believe, and this is
I'm
what I'm gonna
Trice.
do.
This is my home, and I must poop.
That's Trice.
Start him young.
Took it
The other
down real
day,
fast.
because like I said, we're trying to. Violet is pretty much potty trained. Trice didn't care anything about it, but we're like, hey, your sister's 10 months younger than you. You're gonna learn. And so that's the way Trice has been his entire life, though. When it's his turn and when he's ready, he'll do it and he's done. But
Yeah.
if it's not his time, he ain't gonna do it. Well, anyway, so the other day, I'm like, you gotta go to the bathroom. He's like, yeah, I gotta go poop. So he takes a dump, and he's like, hey, it's a baby shark doo-doo. I was like, yeah, it is. And so then I'm like, hey, stand over here, wash your hands. I gotta go pee. So I go pee. He goes, Dad, good job. You peed in the potty like a big boy. I'm like, thanks, man. I appreciate that. So it's so good just to see what they pick up on. I'm like, oh, yeah, man.
It's
Fair
so
enough.
literal and functional for a kid. There's no nuance to it. It's what works and what don't work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
The other day, we're outside at the barn. He's like, I gotta pee. I'm like, perfect. Nobody's around. I'm like, go, man. He's like, all right. Pulls his pants down, goes to pee, pisses right in his pants with his pants down. I'm like, hey, buddy, you gotta aim it out. Oh, okay. It's just like full on, like,
That makes sense.
pisses
That makes
right
sense.
in his pants.
Dad, you're a genius.
So, yeah.
I don't blame him on like coming late to the party with like not wanting to poop your pants because it's good living, really.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know, man.
to a
I don't
certain
think I could,
point.
like,
Sounds terrible.
squishy.
Well, you don't have to give up like I think most kids just don't want to give up what they're doing. Like
Yeah.
if, you know what I mean? If you're playing with whatever you're
Yeah,
playing with.
Violet will do that still.
Yeah.
She's like, Dad, I gotta pee, and I'm like, you gotta pee or you already went pee? Because it's already down her leg. I'm like, she was playing with something and got busy and was just like, I don't want to stop. So she's like,
Oh yeah.
Dad, I gotta go pee, and I'm like, we gotta use a different verb there, different tense of a verb there. So, Dad, I already went pee.
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's fun. Kids are fun.
Lawson, my stepson, he'd go to his grandpa's house, his pa's house, and they'd pee off the back porch.
Yep.
That's what you do.
Yep.
They live out in the country in the middle of Kentucky. So every morning, Pa and Lawson just go out and pee off the back porch, come back inside, get breakfast, do what they do.
Mhm.
Kristen says, big, huge wedding happening in the backyard. You know, all the people are there, all the family, everything. All of a sudden, Grandma's horrified, turns around. There's Lawson peeing off the back porch, man. You know,
It's a little water fountain.
that's what we do, you know? Like,
Yep.
it's pretty
That
funny.
is.
He didn't understand that, hey,
Nope.
you're having a wedding? So what? That's what me and Pa do.
Gotta do
Cheers,
it.
bro.
It's my house.
Yeah. So when I had shoulder surgery, I'm 16, I guess. still coming out of surgery that night. It's probably, 4 or 5 hours later, but it's pitch black. We're at our house, that I grew up in, where my dad's house is, that house on that corner right there, right? And so Mom said she's coming in. I'm in the recliner. I'm kind of in and out. She's changing out ice packs on my shoulder. She said she leaves, comes back. I'm gone. She freaks out. Can't find me. Runs downstairs to my bedroom, not there. Runs to the bathroom, not there. Well, then she looks out the front door, just peeing off the front porch, not back porch, front porch. I mean, car didn't come, but cars could have came right. I mean, it's a main road right there. So, it is what it is. Can't take
it's good country
can't teach
living.
an old dog new tricks.
Good country living.
You weren't sleepwalking, were you?
No, but apparently I
Couple
was the
nights
other
ago?
night. Yeah. Hillary said I got in her face, and I'm like, hey, there's water in the laundry room. She's like, okay. No, there's water in the laundry room. Okay. There's water in the laundry room. She said I just got up and left and went back to bed.
Recently?
This is 2 nights ago.
Have you ever sleptwalked before?
I talk a lot in my sleep. I've never I don't know that I've gotten
Yeah,
up.
wow.
And apparently there was water in the laundry room.
Oh.
Yeah.
He said he got up to go to the bathroom. So
I got up to go to the bathroom, and as
It's
Darren's
the
at
dryer
our
with
house
the
right
urinal.
now, and so I'd been asleep, had been for 3 or 4 hours probably, and Darren had just happened to be walking up the stairs. He was playing PlayStation. He was playing Call of Duty, and so he said it scared the crap out of him. I don't remember it, so I might have been sleepwalking there too. I don't know what happened, but
That's crazy.
yeah, 1 o'clock.
Did he bring a PlayStation with him?
No, it's
Go
mine,
with
but I
us.
don't ever play it. But they're all in this it's a group of them here, and then some of my cousins back home, and they all play Call of Duty at night. And Josh Malone bought it for me, thank you, Josh, and a headset for me to play. But they only play at 11 p.m. And even if they played at 6, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't play
Right.
either. I've got better uses of my time. But yeah, Darren has been up till 1 and 2 the last couple
Really?
nights playing. I'm just like, man,
I can't do it.
can't do it.
I'm afraid I'd get addicted. If I started something like that,
Really?
I would really get into it and be addicted
I'm
to it.
not good with those types of games.
We got an Xbox. Gus plays Fortnite,
Yeah.
and I'll try every once in a while. It's really fun. I'm not gonna lie, but I suck. And so when your 10-year-old
It's not even fun.
when your 10-year-old is beating your pants off, you're like, nah, man, I'm
done.
out. I'm out.
done.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, give me a NASCAR game. I'll play NASCAR just because it's driving. You can kind of.
Like Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart's fun. Mario Kart also makes up for people that are terrible too. So
Yes, that's why I like
little
it.
jumpy skid
that's the only
thing.
bad
It's
thing
always fun.
about Mario Kart.
What's
if
your
people
favorite
are
video game?
8 to 10, there's no differentiation.
Yeah.
If you're a 4,
Yeah.
then you're really bad. But between 7, 8 to 10, the game will make up for
Yeah.
whatever.
I always like the driving ones, like Mario Kart, Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
Crash
That's it.
Bandicoot. Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Wow. I played Joust.
Joust. I played Sonic the Hedgehog.
Frogger. Had Frogger
Sonic
back in
Yes.
Pong. Pong.
Galaga.
Galaga.
Yeah.
Have you
Back in
seen
the day.
Pixels, the movie Pixels?
No.
It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
You might like it.
I know what
All
you're talking
those
about.
old games. It's Adam Sandler, and they aliens attack using old video games that they have to try to beat the video games so they don't. It's
I've never even heard of it, dude.
It's pretty good actually.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you seen it? No, nobody at the tables.
An Adam Sandler flick, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
It's got
I'm in.
Adam Sandler and the dude's voice. That's Olaf.
Don't know.
What's his name? He's in Wedding Ringer. Josh Gad. Is that his name? I don't know. He's in it. It's pretty good.
I like
Look at
Olaf,
you.
though.
It's good.
None of us can hang with your
Dang, man.
movie knowledge.
Yeah, no,
Come on,
definitely
bunch of
not.
losers.
I've seen about 8 movies in my life.
Now that I've been sitting in this chair, I've been trying to find something on TV to watch, and there's nothing to watch as far as I'm concerned.
No.
Yellowstone?
Yellowstone.
No,
What?
can't do it. I know.
Jim,
We're gonna
you have all this
just
time.
forgive me. I can't do it.
Don't
I've been
like-
watching DIY shows. Do you do it yourself?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Kristen's into that. And so now I'm just in there watching all these. I'm into kitchens and decorating and
Yeah.
You can have a
the
garden. in your yard
backsplash
now,
and getting it right. And I'm absorbed. I hate a couple of people on some show and I'm in there criticizing them and she's like, relax. It's just TV.
It's just a kitchen sink. Huh?
Yeah,
what it
they're
is.
all right. I'm like, that obviously doesn't go with the wall color.
Terrible lamp.
I'm worried about you, Jim.
Have you seen Social Dilemma? Have y'all watched that?
What?
The Social Dilemma.
I have not, man.
Wow,
Heard all about
it's
it.
really good.
Yeah.
Got to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Number one thing on the internet,
I listen to it on the
Internets.
drive.
I've never watched it.
Did you immediately throw everything out the window?
No, I downloaded more apps.
I got more invested.
This is crazy.
I need to give them more information.
No, I've really been trying to cut back though, and it's like, it's so crazy how, like they make the point in there that sheer willpower will not be enough. Like, and what it is like they go through this whole thing. You got to watch it, but like these slow little just tweaks on your character and on your drive, your emotion, like your thinking system, by just little pings of pleasure, like 1 like, 2 likes, but not every time. So it's like it was like a slot machine. Every time you go, you're like, oh, what am I going to get now? But it's the algorithms and everything are just right to make it just for you to keep going, and it's so crazy.
Well, it's set up. The algorithms are set up to use how you're wired as a human.
Yeah.
It's not even nefarious. It's just
No.
to get you to buy more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the dopamine, hey man, give this a like. I had to take all that stuff off my phone because I couldn't control it, and I'm a pretty self-disciplined person.
Yeah, that's
took
what I did.
All stuff off my phone because I will go check it. The second that my mind had a little bit of blank space, I was like flipping over there. So to remove it was a really good thing for me, and to force myself to have to go to the iPad if I want to do it was good for me.
Yeah.
That's a really good doc. I mean, it's really eye-opening.
Something I've done, like instead of cutting it out completely, because it's like something I do in my life is like I'm trying to constantly balance, like finding the good, finding the truth in it. Like y'all talk about that often, like in all the chaos and everything, there's some aspect of truth. And the evil one, like he doesn't just feed total lies, like he just takes the truth and distorts it just a little bit, manipulates it just enough for it to be believable, but enough for you to get off track. And so trying to use it for a good, for a positive, but still in a moderated, balanced way. During Lent, like every spring, I'll instead of giving it up completely, I'll set parameters, which I think I'm gonna go to for the whole year. And I would only give myself a window from 12 to 9 p.m., which I'm not on it for the 9 hours, but most of the time I'm on it. It's either early in the morning or at the end of the day, like when I finish supper or something. And it takes those times out. And 12, middle of the day to the late afternoon is my busiest time. So just putting those windows on there like helped a lot.
That's smart.
I tried that. I'm too weak for that. I know the passcode. Like I'll go ahead and admit, I was like, all right, I'm going to put, 15 minutes a day. It's all I got on Instagram and Twitter. And I catch myself, passcode, another 15 minutes, passcode. I just get rid of the passcode for the day. And so I was like, you know what? Going off my phone.
Yeah.
And then went straight to Twitter, doing the same thing. And so then
Really?
Twitter was going off my phone. And so I haven't put either one of them back on my phone. I get caught up in news every once in a while too. Now I'm like, let me go see what's on the news. And I'm like, this doesn't really,
The first few days, like when you're cutting back on it, it's like any kind of detox. This may be more so because it's emotional, but the first couple of days, you're like, I'm missing out on everything. Like no one knows about my life. I don't know about their life. But then once you get over that initial, like that sting, that hunger for it, it's so free.
So free.
Like you can like see the world. You're not constantly thinking about this or that or this influence
making
or
a
that.
post or
Yeah.
what.
How do you balance it? Because you do a fantastic job with social, and it
Thanks.
sounds like it's still on your
It
phone.
is. I actually did take a week fast like a couple months ago that I talked about. That was really helpful, like to just experience because I'd never taken a fast from it before. But I set a limit on my phone and I try to stick to it. I don't have a passcode or anything, but as much as I can, like in
power
the
to you.
mornings, I try to focus on not being on it.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, clearly. But yeah.
Clearly.
Wait, what?
But yeah, no, it's
Your
always a
words.
good reminder to try and get off of it. Like I wish I could have someone run my Instagram. Rory.
All right.
Tasia, you don't
Get
do it
on
on
it.
purpose, but you make me feel like a sinner. You're so good.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Like when I just measure myself, I'm just like, I am a loser.
Shut up.
Just kidding.
You're one pathetic loser.
It went awkwardly silent.
I definitely
Yeah,
need Jesus more than you do. Then we got jokes. These
Don't
are
we all?
jokes.
Don't we
Trying to
all?
make jokes with the priest here.
Wait, you were joking with someone yesterday? Luke. No. Who was it? about
George.
being
Oh,
George,
George, yeah.
George with Tasia.
George and I, we
Get
always
closer to Jesus.
decide who's closer to God by
Who goes to church that week?
yeah,
And which church you go to?
it's true.
And then we said we all don't count because
Because
we're
you
not
have
Catholic.
to earn the love. That's what it's all about. If you don't earn it,
Between George and I, yeah.
What good is the saint if we don't have the sinner?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I think I got that off Star Wars.
I like it a lot.
Oh, so
We were passing around Yoda quotes yesterday.
We were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously? Are you a nerd, a Star Wars nerd?
I did. There's a select few that I know. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Do you like Star Wars?
I really enjoy all the movies. There's some of them where I'm like take it or leave it, but I definitely like. I think we were talking about this when we were just talking about The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like all of the nuance in that falls flat on me. I just like watching the action.
Yeah, me too.
But if I watch it with like my brother-in-law, he knows like
I gotta go back.
oh,
and,
that
I've
part-
watched them
Yeah.
all, but I don't. I mean, I could tell you like the overarching story. I guess like Anakin turns bad and he turns into Darth Vader, who has Leia and Luke, and then. But I couldn't tell you like how it all works together.
yeah.
Isn't there some incest in there somewhere?
There was almost, I think.
Didn't like a brother kiss a sister or something?
It got close. It got really heavy.
Okay.
Wait,
Then
seriously?
Han Solo stepped in.
I have no idea what I'm talking
Save
about.
the day.
Yeah, this is my memory.
And then
Oh.
my favorite quote actually about Star Wars is Ben. Ben, do you like Star Wars?
I like the idea.
I like the idea of Star Wars, he said.
I've never actually.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
What does
but I
that
like.
I like it.
That stuff.
You like the idea of like separate galaxies and stuff? Or you like the idea of like lobbing onto like a series of films?
Or they just sit there, the galaxies and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
It's both of them like together, but
Okay.
yeah, I've just never like actually sat down like and watched a full movie.
Yeah.
I like the bad lip reading of the Yoda. Was it the old Yoda? Have y'all seen those? He's like doing a bad lip reading. He's singing a song about his stick, and the other one. They
Bad
say,
lip
"My
reads
stick,
are
my
bad
stick."
lip reads are great. Have you ever seen any of those?
Yeah, like I've seen some of the football
Oh
ones.
man, they're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Yoda ones, but yeah, no, I mean, I like Star Wars, but I'm not obsessed with it.
Same.
I'm on like episode 5 or 6 of The Mandalorian. Have you watched any of those?
No.
They're not bad.
I watch DIY shows. I told
Oh,
you
yeah,
that.
that's right.
Yeah.
Chip and
Yeah.
Joanna, is that your go-to?
If I'm being honest, I really like the Property Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's
Okay.
good stuff.
Okay.
And then there's another one called Hometown.
So not the Fix Rapper.
You don't like
I
Fixer?
like Fixer. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yeah.
It's old.
Yeah.
You
There's
know?
one about tree houses. Have you seen
Oh,
that?
Treehouse.
No.
Treehouse.
It's the
whatever
ultimate
it was.
tree houses or yeah, whatever. It's pretty dope.
That was pretty cool.
And you know what you're gonna get. Like the formula is always the same.
Yep.
You know, like do, 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 do.
Yeah.
But like the reveal, you're always like, whoa, that's dope.
That's
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
I like it.
Yeah.
Does Kristen watch baking shows?
No.
Okay. Because the Great British Bake Off is pretty legit.
So I thought about watching that actually.
You should.
Yeah.
So what you do
I don't
in
know
the
if I can
beginning,
get
first
into it.
episode, you pick one man and one woman that you think's gonna go all the way, and you can bet like Kristen can pick her man and woman, and then you see who wins.
Interesting.
That's just your game, or you can actually bet. Like,
No, that's just our game.
okay, it's not like on DraftKings. yeah.
No, it's a game we made up.
Multiple times in my life, I have said I'm going to bake something like a pie or something sweet or whatever. And by the way, I hate to cook with a passion. So went and bought everything, got it set up in the kitchen. I was like, this is some BS. I ain't doing this. Do it all the way.
Who bakes anyways?
You
Not,
threw it away,
not doing
you
I
this.
think
Put
the
it in the
only
pantry.
the only thing I've ever baked
Do it all the way.
was the recipe for the DoubleTree cookies came out during quarantine. I was like, I'm gonna do that, and they were really good and
Yeah, you
tasted
talked
just
about
like
that.
them. But it was so much work. I'm like, I'm not. doing
Yeah.
You didn't even share them with us.
No. I
When
ate
you
them
can go to Publix and just buy that stuff
Yeah.
and bring it home.
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
However, I will take the time. That brisket that I made for the Notre Dame game was the only highlight of that game.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Truth.
That
it
was
was
horrible.
incredible. It was incredible. Yeah, that
What did you make it on?
the pit boss. It was so. I
Do you get
took
the big one or like the standy uppy one?
just the regular Sportsman grill.
Okay.
I took it was like a 5 or 6 pound brisket. I'll go through the whole steps. It's
Okay.
a lot of work, but it was awesome. So, soaked it, brined it, whatever you want to call it. Put some salt on both sides. Threw it in Angry Orchard apple cider, hard cider. Little like let it eat away at it for a little bit. I wish I would have done it longer. I just didn't have time. Let it soak for like 4 or 5 hours. Got it out of there, kind of patted it down so it wasn't like just sopping wet. Took some Sweet Baby Ray's Carolina,
So good.
like the mustard based one, and just kind of rubbed it all over the thing. And then took garlic, salt, and pepper. That was it. Stuck the thermometer in it. Put it on the grill at about 220 at about 8 o'clock at night. And so I tried this on Christmas, and it took forever. So I was like, I'll put it on about 8. By about 8 in the morning, it'll get to 165. They say at 165, you're supposed to wrap it and then turn it up and crank it till it's like 215, 220 on internal temperature. And so I'm like, probably be 8 o'clock by the time that happens. Well, I just happen to get up and take a piss at 5, and I'm like, I'm going to go look at the grill and see. Sure enough, it's at 165.
Ooh.
So no shirt, no shoes,
Lucky
walk out the
snag.
grill. It's like 40 degrees outside, and I'm trying to wrap this thing in butcher paper. Wrap it in butcher paper real quick, put it back on the grill, crank it up to 300, and then luckily, I got up again at 7:30 when the kids got up, and it was at 218. So I'm
Oh,
like,
man.
crap. So I pull it off, put it on the counter, let it rest for an hour, but I can't eat because it's before noon. So I'm like, dang.
I'm like, intermittent fasting.
Dummy.
Complete discipline. I take the thing, put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the fridge. About 1 o'clock-ish, game's at 3. I throw it in a crock pot, but I pour beer in the crock pot first and kind of let it, get in there. Leave it in the butcher paper, drop it in the butcher paper, and then just on like a 8 or 10 hour heat cycle, let it heat up that way. It was awesome.
There's so many
Sounds like a lot of
flavors.
work.
So many flavors. Yeah, a lot of work.
It was so awesome, though.
Can you do all that from an app?
You can use the app to get it.
Temperature
you can
control
check
kind
your
of a thing?
temperatures. You can either change the temperature or check your what the thermometer
Oh, that's nice.
temperature is. But man, it was so good because
Nothing like it.
there's a lot of like different theories on how to do it. I didn't realize there was all this. Like, do you put fat side up, fat side down? Do you leave uncovered? Do you wrap in tinfoil? Do you wrap in butcher paper? Do you do all this? This was the best one I had. Like, had a good bark on it. Like that black kind of, not like it's a little char to it. And then it was good. It
Is
wasn't
it
dry.
fat side up or fat side down?
They say actually fat side. Well, depends on who you say. I did fat side down.
Yeah, because this year when I was in Kauai, they cooked their turkeys upside down. Or like a lot of people that we were around, they cooked their turkeys upside down. And I guess that's a better way to do it because the
Maybe
juices
fat
or
and
something.
juice and stuff.
I never even thought of that.
I'm glad you had that as Notre Dame got their asses
Ass
handed
kicked.
them.
It was bad. Yep, it was bad. So did Clemson though.
I know. I was bummed about that.
There's never been a good quarterfinal or semifinal game. Ever.
Man.
So.
It looks like that last game could be a game though. If Ohio State can show up and play, maybe
Yeah.
it'll be a game.
My thing with that is, everybody wants to say they played a shorter schedule. They did, and it's not fair that they don't have the wear and tear that a lot of these
Right,
other
for
teams
sure.
have. Like, that's the one thing. Like, I'm like, who cares that, they only had 6 games to show off what they had. I'm not worried about that. But the fact that they only have the wear and tear of 6 games versus Alabama having 12 games,
Yeah.
it's a little bit.
SEC too, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That I totally agree with that. The only thing for me that helped a little bit was just how dominant Ohio
Yeah, they
State was.
Looked
Yeah.
fantastic.
And
Yeah.
I'm actually a Clemson fan,
Yeah.
but I was like, holy smokes, that was
It was bad.
they showed up and kind of handed
For
Clemson.
sure.
We'll see.
Yep.
See what happens.
Yep.
When is that game?
It's Monday.
Yeah,
Okay.
Monday.
It's just horrible. Why do we put the Super Bowl and the national championship one on Sunday and one on Monday? Just do it on Saturday.
Wow.
Nobody wants to stay up late and then try to go to work the next day. Why do we?
But they're assuming people are going to be hungover from the Super Bowl and call in sick on that Monday.
I know, but
Then start
just
partying.
put it on a
Sunday.
Saturday so it's better.
Padre, as a Catholic priest, what college teams are you allowed to root for?
It has to be
Is there
Notre
like
Dame,
a-
right?
Could be any of them, yeah. It's
Are you being serious?
yeah.
It could be anything. It doesn't have to be like.
It's not an approved list.
It doesn't have to be like a Catholic, like Notre Dame, like.
Yeah,
You can like Georgia.
of course.
Okay, and go to
Of course,
heaven.
yeah.
I'm
Are
just,
there
Yeah.
rivalries though, like
Even
Army
like-
Army Navy, like is BYU Notre Dame like a thing?
Yeah.
Just kidding. But you're thinking
no,
about it.
no, that's not- yeah. No, I wouldn't say so.
An ideology.
Yeah. Ideology Bowl. Presented by Tostitos.
Liberty.
No, it's a Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, only Notre Dame and the New Orleans Saints is all you can vote for.
That's what I thought you were going to say. I knew you had an opinion.
Anyone else, it's like extra penance.
How many Hail Marys do you have to
That's
say
what I
when
was
you root
looking for.
It depends on how many yards the other team gets. That's how many Hail Marys you got to pray. Yep.
That's funny.
Go to confession.
Is this the first time you've been in town since the elk hunt?
Yeah.
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 Jeff
I was
came
in May. Jeff came over for about a week or so.
Yeah,
Him and Brian
Stephen.
went to South
Stephen
Carolina.
was a star on our elk hunt
That's right.
videos. Yep. It
Yep.
was me and Steven. We hunted every day but the first day together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Jeff were together the first day.
'cause
Our
we-
first day was fun.
It was fun.
I take great pride
Oh,
in
me
being
sitting
the
still?
only person in
It
the
was not
universe.
fun.
Well, not for you, but I managed to get Rich Froning to sit still for 9 hours. Have any of y'all done that?
I wasn't
No.
really sitting still the whole time, if we're being honest. There was a lot of moving around within that little,
Well,
like,
staying in one place.
little
Yeah,
nook we were
okay.
in. I was bored
20 by
out
20.
of my mind.
No, I was going insane too. It
And I was
fun.
like, if this is elk hunting, I never want to do this again.
yeah, it was a water hole. And granted, there
We
was
need.
like
It was the way to
a
hunt.
lot of sign.
Yeah, it was the way to hunt our particular area and the temperature. But man, it was so boring.
What was? Well, never mind. I think I know the answer. I was gonna say, what was harder, sitting there for that day, or that when we were at the water hole, or the last day? Remember, I was like,
Dude, the
I'm
last
hungry.
day is one of the hardest, most mentally challenging days I've ever had in my life, I think. Yeah, Steven cussed at me in his
No.
head.
Yeah, but I did apologize.
He did
Because
apologize.
I was really frustrated. So we woke. It was the last day, and after you've gone hunting, like you've made the long trip out there, so you got that. You're like, man, I got that. I got the money sitting on the tags. Like I'm just invested in this in so many different ways. And then you know it's the last day, and the clock is ticking. And you think that you can do more work to make it happen, but you're dealing with Mother Nature. You can't do anything to control it. You just got to enter in to the flow, you could say. But so like we wake up the last day, and like.
And everybody's over it. Everybody's like, we're going home. Like, get back here by noon. And me and Steven,
was like, by this time I was there. This was day 14 for me. And
we've been grinding too. Like, full on, sun up, sundown, hiking, like,
Didn't it
snow.
snow? Yeah.
oh, it was
It
50
was-
in the morning, and then there were 12 inches of snow by 7 p.m. It was,
And we almost died. Because Steven almost got lost.
Had some screenshots of the video when it snowed,
Yeah.
and like we were just
It was,
covered in.
yeah, I'm telling you, it was one of the most mentally challenging things.
That's when I
I've
lost
ever
my
done.
GoPro on that
He's lost
snow
his
day. I had a
GoPro.
meltdown. Like,
Full meltdown.
Oh.
My GoPro, man. I'm like, calm down. I'm going back to find it. You guys go ahead. No, you're not. We're in like almost
gone.
whiteout conditions.
Yeah.
No, you're not. So sorry,
saved,
but
up,
to
saved up my allowance for.
the last day.
Oh yeah. So we wake up. There's snow. Like we're just ready to get something. Anything. And like we wake up. We're like, let's hunt. Let's cast our nets on the other
So
side.
we're walking. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Keep backing up. But the last day we're walking up, and he says something about, and Jesus said to cast our nets on the other side, and they pulled up fish. So we've been hunting this one side of the ridge the whole time, one side of the mountain, I
It's
guess.
like up and down. It's,
And so I'm like, there it is. We're going to the other side tomorrow. He was like,
and
yeah.
Matt and Marlin's like they saw a
Matt
lot of fresh
Marlin had
sign over
seen some stuff on the other side. So, sorry, we're walking.
there. Yeah. It's,
First light, I guess.
yeah. And we get going. So we cross the road. We get maybe 400 meters into the woods. We walk down the actual drive, down like the road that goes to this national forest, maybe a quarter mile, maybe a half, no, about a quarter, third of a mile. Then we go maybe 400 meters into the woods, and we see these tracks. And it was
Fresh.
snowing all night. So they were like, they just happened, because it was snowing pretty heavy at this time. These tracks just happened. And we were like, well, follow them. And we followed those things.
For
Or you
7
followed those
hours.
things, and we followed you. And it was just brutal. Up and
I
down.
could smell them.
Oh,
I
you
could
could smell
could
it.
taste them. Like they were right
Was
there.
it literally that close, you think?
No,
It was
you could-
it
you
was
could smell the
snowing.
earth.
It was snowing
Smell
all
it.
day, and there was no snow in these tracks. So they were
You were right there.
right.
But we came
Yeah.
back over the same tracks, and they were full of snow. And
Okay.
the fresh ones are still
Fresh ones were still.
Yeah.
They put us. We looked back at
Poo
the
was
GPS.
still warm. Like you'd find poo, and you're like, okay, one way to find out. Like you touch it, and you're like, oh, it's still warm.
Yeah, like you could see steam coming off of it. We were there. It was,
So when did you cuss at Rich in your head?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it started about 8 a.m. and then it finished around 2:15 p.m.
I got locked in, and I'm locked in, and you get this like I don't even know how to explain it, but I'm gonna call it elk fever because you're like, I'm gonna kill something. Like we've been here, like there's such an emotional roller coaster to this whole week, and you're running out of time, and there's nothing you can do really. Like you can't outwork them. You can't like there's strategy to it obviously, but there's some luck involved. There's like all this stuff, and I'm to the mentality of I'm gonna outwork it. And I'm gonna catch it. Right, we're gonna get to it, and we weren't. It's just always over this next hill, and so emotionally you're here, and then you get over that next hill and you're here, and then you're like, oh, there's another hill right there. and then you drop here. It's the most demoralizing, thrilling, hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Those things are agile. They're 400 pounds or so. I don't know their exact size, but they're big animals. And they're like the stuff they're climbing over and under, and the things are going around. It's brutal.
It's wild.
We're going up and down these valleys, and they're like crossing the other drives and everything. There's these different roads in the forest, and they're
Crossing
over.
creeks, we were at one point on hands and knees
Yeah.
climbing up this hill because there's no other way to get up it.
And you see their tracks, and they'll stretch out. And they'll make strides just going up. But we get to one point, I'm like, Rich, we got to stop. I'm hungry. And he's like, all right. And so I pull off my pack, and I pull out some Little Debbie cakes. And then
Most days we stop, we eat,
Yeah.
hang out for a little bit. I'm not stopping.
he was staring at me, and I was about to open it, and he was staring at me like,
What are you doing?
yeah.
I didn't have
just
my
fresh
hand.
tracks.
I had my bow. I was just standing there waiting for him, letting him eat.
That's when the words got strong in my head.
In my head.
And,
Won't even let you have your Little Debbie.
Yeah. No, and I was, but then we get back to camp, and I'm
The
like,
funniest part though is he's like kind of taking his time, looks up, speeds up a little bit, looks up again, speeds up real fast and starts shoving stuff in his pockets, and then like, okay, let's go.
that's yeah. Oh, once I
And,
started shoving
at that point, I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't care. He still had a couple more days left. This was my last day,
Right.
you know?
once I saw that you weren't gonna let me stay, that's when I shoved them in the pockets, and that's when the switch flipped in my head, and I was like,
I hate
"This
this man.
jackass.
Yeah.
What's he doing?" We get back to the camp. I'm like, Rich, like I'm serious. I'm sorry. You didn't hear it, but I was really calling you very bad names in my head.
Very bad days.
Okay.
I was like, I get that. I was calling myself names in my head. It's not been the first time. Will be the last, actually.
I feel like I've heard this story, the theme of this story, multiple times of people who have been hunting with you. Like,
Yep.
Whether it's an elk or a barbell.
Or a
Yeah.
turkey or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
No.
Step on the gas.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people think that people have the picture of hunting like we're in a blind or we're in a stand, and that's what some people do. But
Yeah.
what you guys were doing was very different.
For elk, no. It's,
Yeah.
No, it was, man, like I said, it's one of the most emotional, difficult, rewarding. I don't know. There's just no way to there's something to be said about being completely disconnected out in the middle of nowhere. Like we were miles an hour from decent cell phone service. I had this kind of Garmin that I could every once in a while send text messages, but it depended on where the satellite was when it came around and, whatever. But, man, it's an awesome experience, but so frustrating.
And I think it's also important that for people that are listening to this, you didn't shoot anything.
No,
so that's
killing
part
it.
of the
No,
process
no.
sometimes.
Well, we did
that's-
shoot one thing.
grouse.
Grouse.
It's
Okay.
like a big mountain chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the grass. I was like, oh.
Okay, yummy.
We're vegetarians. We're
Real
grass
desperate.
Got one.
We did have one opportunity to shoot an elk.
Oh,
Who mucked that up?
Huh?
Who mucked that up?
He didn't muck it up. It just took a while.
Oh,
It was just. We should have just gotten an arrow, honestly.
okay.
Like, it was,
Now we might actually hear him swear. Go on, Padre. Tell us about it.
I didn't muck it up. I didn't say come on. I didn't say he mucked it up. You saved it. That's why I didn't say anything.
I didn't muck
No,
it up.
we're
You
going.
didn't muck it
Like,
up.
so we they during the middle of the day, these elk will bed down, and like you would think you could see them.
They're ghosts.
Yeah,
They're ghosts.
It looks like a horse, and like you think, I'll see that thing laying down. There's no problem. So we're going, and then like Rich just like he stops. And he's like stuttering and stuff. He's like, "There's an elk," and I'm like, "Where?" Like I don't see anything. He grabs my neck just like that. And I'm like, I go from totally calm to thinking Rich has lost his damn mind. Like, dude, there's no elk there. And then it's like, oh gosh, there's an elk. And then, and I'm like, okay.
It was your turn to shoot. That's why
Well,
this
it
is
was-
happening.
I saw the elk. We were on a game trail above this thing, 57 and a half yards.
Yeah.
I have it. It's burned into my brain.
Yeah.
There's a perfect ray of light
Oh, it was so cool.
coming right down on the fat back of this bull elk.
So what you're saying? It was a God thing? Is that what
It
you're saying?
was.
And this elk is just
And like the tines on his head in the sunshine were just like,
the wind is blowing perfectly into our face,
his
like
bangs
which
are floating.
is they can like the big thing is the wind, and if your scent
Sure.
is carried and all that stuff, like you can try to cover your scent, but as much as we're walking around, you're sweating, you're gonna give away your scent. perfect, scent's perfect. The problem is we're behind this little kind of spruce tree or whatever.
There's a stump or something.
Needed to
It's like
step forward
5 feet high.
5 feet and perfect shooting lane, like perfect. Right to this thing, it's 57.5 yards, which is a poke. I'll tell and then you can.
Okay.
So
You're pretty
he's
on
there,
so far.
and so we're standing there, and I'm like, hey, you take the shot. Like he's been he was there the year before, kind of told us about the area. He had scouted it.
There really are elk there.
He led us the first 2 days. This is day 3. I'm kind of leading, and there's no real leader. It's just like, oh, let's take this elk trail. Oh, you getting around this elk trail. Like, I just happen to be the one in front. I'm like, you take the shot. Like, you've been here. He's like, okay, thanks. And so he's standing there. He's got this rangefinder. It's like 57.5 yards. I'm like, all right, sweet. I was like, that's a poke. Let's go for it. He's like, take my backpack. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. It's hard to shoot with a backpack. So take his backpack. I set it down. I'm like, all right. And he's like,
not a noise.
And I'm thinking, in my head, I'm like, this is a far shot. Like, we got to get it a little bit closer. In hindsight, he tried to go down and then forward. In hindsight, we should have just walked straight on that elk trail and taken the shot at 57.5 versus I see where that's a poke with a bow, but he was turned broadside, laying fat, but it's just burned in my brain.
I wanted 55 yards, so I was like, okay, I can do 3 easy steps, like moving towards him. There's little movement. It'll be all right. And then he was cool as a cucumber, just looking around, and it was just like something you'd see in a movie or something. It was so cool. And then he looks back, and then he like sticks up his butt, and then he stands up on his chest, or like puts up his front legs, just like it's slow motion. It happened. And as soon as like those legs locked out, boom, he was gone. And then like
8 to 10 more take off, and I'm just like,
what?
You couldn't even
everything
see him
sounds like the forest is falling.
Yeah,
Because these things are just running, and they're
crazy.
just like, you just see them pass. Because we can only see this. I'm telling it's one of the hardest things because, one, they blend in so well. You could be below them. You could be right there. Like, I just happened to turn my head, and he's sitting perfectly in the light. Like, these things they're ghosts,
And they're quiet as big as so they made all that noise. Then they get 100 yards down. You
Can't
know
hear
they're
it.
still there running. Because like every few seconds you'd hear like or a rock, or you'd hear a stick break or something like that. But once they get 100 yards past you, it's like there was a herd of them. And you can't even hear them now. Except for a random like limb
Snap.
break or something. It was just so crazy.
So demoralizing, too.
No, it was...
Well, you blew it.
Yeah, that's good. Well, you blew it.
Man. But then, in my head, this took 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Back to the GoPro footage, it took 4.5 minutes for all that to
Are
happen.
you serious?
Yeah. That was the hard part. We
Jeez.
looked back at it, and we're like, we started a clock.
The
and
hell
it
was
was
he
like
dragging
4.
his feet for? Shoot it.
Well, you want to be responsible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
take a
You
good
want to take
shot.
a good ethical shot.
Right, but then you got to take a shot.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to gain like 2.5 yards. Does that make that big of a difference?
Could.
Looking back,
Could.
yeah, it can. Looking
But we're
back, it wouldn't have
downhill?
made a
No.
difference. It would not have made a difference then. For me, like Jimmy just mentioned, I want to make an ethical shot. And I feel like shooting at a target out in the yard, I'll feel good out to 70 or 80 yards. Like, I'll put it on a paper plate, and I'm not worried about it. And a paper plate on an elk that's a big target. That would be in the vital zone. But then it's just like the animal deserves something good. So I was in my mind, I made up 55. Okay, I want to do 55 yards. So from the beginning of the hunt, it was like, okay, that's my magic number.
And it was 2.5 yards
it's
out.
Like the animal deserves that. It ups the competition a little bit more. I have to fight a little bit harder, work harder. And it keeps it fair. Being a hunter has given me so much of a respect and appreciation for all of nature, not just the living animals, but like even food and just like conservation in general. And it's just so, it's really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
I don't waste food like I used to. Like I would buy stuff from the store, and like if I had leftovers in there for 4 days or something, like throw it out. Like I don't want to get sick or anything. If it's an animal that I harvested, I will eat every bit of it. I won't throw it away. And it's like Randy Newberg, he's a big conservationist, a big hunter. He said it so well, and he said, I'm going to paraphrase, I don't remember exactly, but it's a very spiritual principle too, a very Christian principle. He's like, my life depends on the life of another thing. I want that blood on my hands. And it's like, wow, okay. So whether either you're pursuing your own source of life, like, and you're taking accountability for everything in that process to give you life, or that blood is on somebody else's hands. So if you go to the store,
It's on somebody else's hands.
there's anything more or less ethical about it. And you're just paying someone else to put that sacrifice on their shoulders. And then like people have said, well, what about like, I'm a vegetarian. And I get it, like that's good. But even still, you are paying for somebody else's labor. Like some of the work environments for some like organic farms is like not very ethical for the employees. Like they don't get paid well or overworked or things like that. So it's like the whole ethical argument can only go so far, and it comes down to accountability, like and taking ownership for, you know, what are you taking in? It's just, I don't know. It's just I could go down that little bunny hole for a while, but it's eye opening.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good. You hunt too, Ro, right?
I'm new to the sport.
Didn't you just go to
I did,
Alaska?
but it was so that was literally my first ever. It was with a rifle, it wasn't with
To
a
Alaska?
bow. Yep,
What
it was my
first-
second time in Alaska. I used to live in Alaska, to be fair, fishing, but it was only my second time hunting like large mammals.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Great, yeah, it was really cool, and for all the reasons that Rich like tried to articulate, and same, I can't do any better. Like the thrill of the hunt, the thrill of the chase, the being out in nature portion of it, like. Unimaginable kind of beauty and wilderness where people have never been before, especially in Alaska. Yeah, and then this is the first time that I'd killed an animal, and it was really heavy for me. Black-tailed deer.
Wow, those are
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Did it hurt? Like when you walked up to the animal and you see like its eyes.
Less than I thought it would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think because I built that up like hugely in my mind. But it was heavy, and there was the respect, and there was exactly what you're saying. Like since having that meat in my freezer, it's a much, much different scenario than any other kind of transaction that's similar.
Yeah, there's every time I harvest an animal, there's still a sting. I got 5 deer this year in Arkansas, and like every one of them, like there's this rush building up to it, and then when it happens, like before I even get out of the stand or get out of the blind or something, it's like that thing was living
Yeah.
20 seconds
Yes.
ago, but
Now it's
because of
gone.
a free choice that I made, it no longer lives. Therefore, I got to finish this out and do everything I can to, like, not to get like too primal about it, but like do everything I can to carry on the life of that animal, which is going to live through me. Like if I eat that, like I'm not going to turn it into deer, but like I take the lifeblood from it, but I eat the meat, and it gives me life. And it's just, you know, taking it out of the freezer, so many memories. And did your son go with you?
He did. He didn't get a deer, but had an amazing experience. And he took to it like a fish to water, which again, you never know how you're going to react or if you're going to enjoy it. And he's only 10, so the amount of mileage that we put in, like he impressed me.
Did y'all see anything else? Like caribou?
Bears.
or
Lots of bear.
Really? Grizzlies?
Many grizzlies, yes.
Nope, I'm out. And with that, I'm out.
You gonna go elk hunting with us next year?
I would love to. Yeah, I need to get on a bow, man. It's because for the sporting element of it, it just that very much appeals to me.
Chop wood, carry water. I don't know if y'all heard of that book. Check it out.
I've heard of
Chop
it,
wood,
yeah.
carry water. Connected to archery.
Okay.
You've heard of that book?
I've heard of that book.
What's the last thing you've hunted for? Your keys?
Yeah.
That's because that's me yesterday.
I'm like,
hunting for my keys.
yeah.
It's the last thing we've all hunted for, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a good discipline in taking up archery, though. You shoot the bow, don't you?
Yeah.
You ought to start shooting the bow. That should be part of the barn thing. Have some bows out there.
I need to get that
Just-
thing, that
Yeah.
shooting house for me.
I didn't remember to get that to you.
I'll come get it.
Yeah, very good.
You're a little,
Yeah, I can't do it now.
For now.
for now.
Yeah.
It's like a good discipline, even if you're not hunting.
Mhm.
You know, good discipline, good way
Sure.
to be present.
Tasia, do you do anything like any like high discipline things like? Didn't sound good. Like,
Other than CrossFit.
like, are you disciplined? Like, do you play an instrument or do you cross stitch or like anything arts or crafts or?
You seem like a cross stitcher to me.
No. I wish I did. No, I can't think of anything. I like to read.
Okay.
I like books.
I like books. Yeah, no.
Walk around islands from time to time.
Yeah, every once in a while,
Yeah.
walk 70 miles, just
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's good.
It's 70 miles across that island.
From one end to the other.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys like circumnavigated. It
No,
was just end to
Just
end.
one end to the other. And then when we were
Okay.
done, our feet were killing us. We had to drive all the way back.
Did you cross a mountain? Was it like up and down or pretty flat?
It was a lot of hills, up and down, but not big, just like rolling hills, kind of similar to Tennessee. Okay. So yeah, it's good.
Ben,
Yes.
what was your conspiracy you sent me last night?
Oh.
Apparently the internet is gonna go out.
The internet is going to go out today or tomorrow.
Yeah. Because.
Oh, I thought it was like you said 5/6, so I thought that was like.
Oh, like January 5th.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like May 6th.
Yeah.
No.
I gotta admit, I'm really guilty of like getting on TikTok and just falling into this crazy conspiracy train and just not being able to stop. But this conspiracy is that.
You're not speaking in this. Do we need to
Yeah.
relay this? Okay.
We have.
It's conspiracy. Ben thinks the internet's going to go down today.
I'm just saying it's possible. That's what these people were saying today or tomorrow.
We got to get this podcast up and warn everyone,
Yeah.
like quick.
And if the internet goes out, go home. This is what they're saying. Go home, hug your family.
Go home and hug your family.
Go home and hug your family.
Yeah.
And get your guns.
Internet's going to go out today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
At what time? Do we know?
No, I'm just saying.
Is that what the 5G thing was? Is this 5G related?
No, this is relating to the election.
This is
Trump
election.
making an appearance and overturning it, but apparently the Democrats are gonna like knock out the media because they apparently run the media because they don't want people seeing what's going on. They're gonna be knocked out, so you can't
Maybe
get
it's good he doesn't have a mic.
Wow.
So Trump needs all his supporters. January 6th.
Blah.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
You're gonna take a day off and go do what?
Rally for Trump.
Oh,
With the internet out?
Don't do that, please.
Okay.
Don't do that.
If it goes, if it doesn't go out, I'll probably stay here. But if it doesn't, I'll be up there. So Trump said he needs all his supporters there. Is what he said.
Wow.
So he's on record saying this was going to happen?
He didn't say that was gonna happen. But he said that he needs his supporters there.
In DC?
Yeah.
You're
Did
going to go to
anybody hear
DC?
this?
I'm thinking about
Have
it.
you ever been to DC?
Let's hope not.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
It's on Thursday. So.
I've got some friends up there.
Wow.
Seriously, I might go. If Tabitha wasn't big on it, she said she might go.
All right.
She would just sit
You going to take Rowan or no?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mix it. Throw the kids
Let her
in.
start a rally or
Yeah.
rallying early.
Learn them young.
I don't want to be a bad dad.
Let's think about it for a second. If the internet went out, how would that really affect my life?
Well, we
Here-
couldn't do our lives in the morning.
Here's the
So-
problem though. Some yahoo is gonna be this like somewhere in his house. Internet's gonna go out, and he's
Yeah.
gonna go grab all of his weapons
Yeah,
and
seriously.
head to Washington D.C. on the assumption that Ben's.
So we should go. What you're saying is we should go knock out Ben's internet.
and see what happens. Let's get a camera crew on that.
Oh my God, it's happening! It's happening!
Just shut it down at the gym for like a couple hours. So when he
It
comes.
might not be a bad idea though. Just go get some cash.
Check.
Oh,
Check.
yeah. All,
Get your guns ready just in case.
Stamps. I heard stamps are going to be the new.
What are you gonna do with your
world's
guns?
Currency. Actually.
What are you going to do with guns?
Interesting.
all credit and debit cards would work.
Comes at my door and he's like,
I made that.
I was
Up.
like, that's crazy. The post office almost just shut down.
I'm a liar.
I completely made that up.
Did you hear what Ben just said?
What did he say?
I said, so what are you going to do with guns? What's the deal with guns? I've heard a lot of people talking about
Yeah.
guns. And there's a lot of stupidity in a lot of that.
Yep.
But, I mean, I think what you just said, the truth is, and we're having fun with this, and you said something about truth, and there are truth in some spaces now that make some of this kind of crazy to try to pay attention to.
Yep.
But no, we don't go get your guns.
No.
And don't
Yeah, don't do
don't shoot people, and don't do any of
No,
that.
I don't
And
shoot people, but if somebody comes, knocking on your door,
Yeah, point a
Shoot
gun
him.
at him.
Sorry, it was a
mailman.
joke. Somebody
Yeah,
video
no,
take that out of context.
Oh my gosh.
Don't do
No.
We're gonna
it.
have to crop this.
It was a joke.
No.
It was a joke.
yeah,
People can't
I don't
take
think
jokes anymore.
there's so much that goes on out there now that just gets people cranked up about stuff.
Yeah.
here's some truth though.
Okay. Truth.
I did watch the full Georgia.
Ben watched the full Georgia election fraud overturning.
Yeah. It's real.
It's real. What's real?
The voter fraud.
There was voter fraud in Georgia.
Yeah.
How many votes?
It's on video and audio.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I don't know how many. We don't know how many votes, but it definitely happened.
Gotcha.
So the question is, was there
Where
enough
did you get
voter
this from?
fraud?
TikTok too, or
No, I watched this like on
Oh, okay.
the live stream thing
okay?
Yeah.
in Georgia.
All right.
Sandler and all that.
You know what's crazy? Character matters.
Character
Okay,
matters.
character matters. So I don't care what religion you are. I don't care that's not important to me. The people that we elect should have character. They should be good people trying to do the right things. And when we start electing people and we don't really care about any of that, or we say that's not important, well, we're really in trouble.
Yep. You're just
And,
doing it to
and we
align.
get into this space now where she said, he said, this right, left. And if you don't know who the hell you are as an individual, and you don't know how to see things through the lens of some values, then you are subject to all the horse shit that's going on out there right now.
Swayed by the wind. You're one of these.
Sheep.
Yeah.
You're one of
Can I
these.
give a shameless plug?
Yeah.
For Mayhem Mindset.
Oh.
Character. How's this for a transition?
There you go.
So I did this with Jim back when
Before it was cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was
I like
it was in the spring. It was shortly after the Coco came, and I was like, okay, things are going to slow down at the church a little bit for a few weeks. I think I want to do this, and I did sign up for it and did it with Jim, and it was just the whole thing on character, and I get that. That's my life, character development, mindset. You know, if you want to use non-religious terms, that's what I do for a living. I help people to know who they're created to be. And so, like, I know the principles, but it was nice to jump into a system that you've created to play your game, you know, to use your terms, and play your game with your rules. And so I was, you really challenged me at the beginning. You said, hey, if you're going to play the game, you play by our rules. And I was like, okay, cool. And I totally suspend everything, not in a way that denies who I am as a person or denies beliefs or anything like that. But I was like, okay, I was firm enough grounded in who I was that I could play your game, and it wouldn't like brain warp me or anything. And so I did that, and it just gave me a language and like for character things, like character development. Which, to bring it back to the point you were saying, commercial's over on that. But so sign up for Mayhem Mindset. People don't know who they are, and it's like just shouting matches, which is what like, debates have turned into. You know, years past, before even the TVs and social media, especially, the presidents would debate on the radio. All you would hear was their voice. You couldn't judge the way they looked. You didn't know much about them, their history. I was like, okay, how do you speak? What do you stand for? Are you logical and coherent? And,
It's the mark of a mature, developed person to be able to entertain a thought or an opinion of somebody else without having to accept it. So we should be able to be in conversations with people about whatever. And that doesn't necessarily affect who I am or what I'm doing. And it's in my experience that somebody who wants to stand in front of me and be right, you got to be right. There's a ton of ego in that. Ton of ego. Because you got to be right. Based on what? Based on you, your experience, what you know, how you interpret things. And the second thing is that kind of a person usually wants power. Usually wants to twist something, you know? So mindset, Mayhem Mindset, I didn't think you could do it. And I told you this later after you got through it. Because the game is to not set aside what you believe. The whole process is about defining that. Right. But the game is to tie one hand behind your back and just don't communicate with me what you believe the way you've always done it. Try to think it through in a different way. So if you're a big-time faith guy, don't give me the scripture. There's nothing wrong with the scripture, but I'm just saying put that aside for a second and tell me what that really means in your own language. And in that process, what happens is if you have to fight to say it for yourself, it's not for anybody else, then you figure out whether it's really authentic or not. Yeah. At the end, when you're done, you know, and the first part of the Mayhem Mindset is about really just jumping through some hurdles, facing some challenges, getting your thoughts, this idea of values and your strongest beliefs, getting that kind of separated from emotion. For sure, we know every problem that we've ever had as an individual relates to a bad choice based on emotion. That's just to be true. So what I want to do is separate that out. And then in the end, we want it to work together and bring all the things that are powerful in your life that you believe in back, and then really create some new language. And so for you, I even talked to Rich about this. I was super hesitant. I thought, there is no way in hell this priest's going to be able to do this. Dude, and you're a good dude, and I've been around you a lot, and like you're really unique in who you are in faith, really unique. So I've come to respect who you are for sure, but I thought, there's no way. And you did like a phenomenal job inside of that process.
It was scary. I had to be vulnerable, and like it's hard to be vulnerable because you put something intimate in somebody else's hands, and you could have stomped all over me, and like I could have left feeling like a worm. But it's like, no, he trusts me with his character. Let's like let's shape it out or see.
It's important, like, I think, because everybody that's connected to Mayhem, not everybody, but a lot of people are people who are people of faith, and that's something that they profess. And mindset, and we've done this, we've calculated this, it's been on purpose. It's not to tell anybody what to believe. The power in making what you believe a force multiplier in your life is you choosing it. Not me telling you, or Rich telling you, or anybody telling you, or some preacher or some priest telling you. It's you pick it and you choose it. And when you get in that space where you recognize what your strongest beliefs are and you choose to live them out, now you got something. Now you got something. No longer is that religion, but that's actually connected to something that's really real. So mindset, we want, that's not my responsibility inside of mindset to be telling somebody what to believe. It's a reflection. You get to work through a process that really takes what you believe in, and by the time you're done, you're like, oh yeah, just reorganize. These are all the things I really believe in. And now you go live those things. So for you to come into that and do that was pretty epic.
Awesome.
I was pretty impressed.
Cool.
I think that's all the time we got for today. Glad to have you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it was
fun.
awesome.
Covered
Yeah.
some bases.
Cool.
That was a lot.
That was a lot.
From hunting
A lot of
to-
you.
Ben,
all
you
over the
good?
place.
Good.
Conspiracies.
Everybody's woke now?
Yeah. I mean, I joke about it. It's important to pay attention to that stuff.
Be prudent. Don't be dumb. Don't be stupid
Yeah.
decision you make.
What's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. Don't be sheep. That's what
I
we
like
said
it.
from the beginning. All right. Peace.